Good morning and welcome to the early bird and welcome to the weekend. I think that it's looking there. It's the US Labor Day on Monday, and I can see that some of the futures markets, like the SPY trading after it closes on the Monday, may not be operating through the night. So just be aware of that. Um, yeah, and the other thing is that I've been working on the trading levels template for the GFT platform, and slowly sort of getting there. So hopefully early next week we'll have those organised there for us for indices, stocks, and Forex, at least the Australian dollar and the euro. I've done the Australian dollar, got to do the euro. I have to go back and do the indices now. I made a bit of an error there, but that's that. Okay, this is the DAX, and the reason we're looking at this for is because most of the sort of, not all the bad news coming out of Europe, but their fair share of it. And it's just interesting to watch on the daily chart here. It's sort of rally into this sort of space here, and we'll look for certain sort of weakness there. We'll be struggling at this particular number here, the 5-8. Eight's a profit taking number, so it will sort of struggle there. But anyway, we'll just watch that. Um, yeah, so the US markets are weaker here, and this has probably got something to do with. We talked about last Wednesday about the ADP figures, the employment figures coming out then, which were about 10,000 short of the 100,000 that they were looking for, and that would play havoc on the NFP figures coming out tonight, the non-farm payroll figures. So there's a bit of intrepidation there coming in, but because of the Labor holiday too, they might be sort of clearing out a few positions. But for us. That we are sort of searching for that elusive top. However, yes, we've seen some weakness here, and we want to study this particular wave structure coming down here to see if it's in 3 waves or 5 waves. But more importantly as well is this particular number here, the 11.5, the medium level here. To see this as support or resistance. And yes, it is trading lower at the moment, so the bias is to the downside, but we haven't seen that strong retest. It's like a retest, sort of checking. Up here we're looking at the 11,772 here, so 720. So it's sort of retesting, but we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen it actually lock under here, and that's what we'll be sort of focused on and looking at. And that would be the same with our local market, and also the S&P 500 as well, at the 1,200 here. Like I mentioned, yes, we have been sort of searching for a top, and this could be it. I'm just unsure about this wave structure coming up through here. That's all. I understand parts of it, but some of it just leaves the door open to give us a few sort of options. So sort of can't sort of rely on that a fair bit, not much, but we can look for things in terms of equality, in terms of this distance here being the same as this distance, those sorts of things. But what we want to do is use the psychology of price, and that 1,200 there, if that becomes the resistance, if that comes down through here, if it comes down through here and then gets stuck and can't get back up, then we, and it starts to fail at that point, then we know that we've got a top in, and we can start looking another 200 points down, taking out this low here. And that's the same for the Dow, the 11.5, and also our local market at the 4.3 here. Overnight we've had one retest into 4.3 here. We were looking for a bit of a top yesterday. We discussed this 5-wave pattern coming up through here. It didn't come up as far as I thought it would, but there you go. But we knew that it would go up and come back down. So it's just doing its thing now. But this particular structure here, so far coming down here, it doesn't give us a lot of clues. It's more corrective than impulse to the downside in terms of there'll be 5 waves in here, so we can go an A and a B and a C wave here. So it's only if this turns into 5 waves coming down through here, like we get that 3rd wave coming down, the 4th and the 5th, then we need that 5 waves in to call it a top. But it certainly doesn't stop us from trading from that point, because we know that being under the level here creates the bias of looking for short-term short trade setups, and we know that subgroup 2 here is important, and we know that we're looking for a retest of the closest largest number, so we've got that, and we know we look for that because we basically want to see the sellers coming down, because when a market moves down like this, it's taken all the computers, tripping all the stops out, but we need to see if that's going to cement it in with the sellers panicking and really wanting to sort of peg it there, and so forth. So then it's about group 2 here. Group 2's had its little retest here. Now we're looking at the midpoint here, the 42.50. So we need to see it locked under the 42.50, but we know that it's not going to be simple, even coming into group 1 here, and this trend line coming through here as well. That's probably got some bearing, some reason that it's there. So there is going to be support in this little area down here as well. So we could look at the length of this, giving us the same sort of length here as well, but it still only gives us 3 waves coming down, doesn't it? Like the 1, the 2, the 3 here. So that can be the ABC correction. So I also sort of understand too, at the minor level degree, this is minor group 1, which would be 4,100, 4,200 and 4,300, and when the price is locked under the 4,200 here, that's the sort of center of that minor group 1. Once it's locked under that, then it's kind of doomed at that stage, and the 4,000 will be the magnet and will pull the price to it at that point. But that's a fair way off, and there's a lot to be done before that. But look, expect a quick ride down to the 3 there, but then expect to bounce back up from that, and it will get really bouncy and rough within here as well. If the 72 finds support here, then you want to look at the 80 to get in there and sort of get back up to this area here. So it's just a game of support and resistance and money management, and the FTSE's pretty much the same as well. I've sort of counted this. I mean, I understand this here. That's fine in terms of the A, the B, and the C here for the A wave, and the B wave's fine. This structure up here, and the same as on the Dow, is just a little bit sort of a bit messy, really. I certainly understand this structure from this point here to that point there, and we can talk about that in a moment. But what I'm not sure about is this up for wave 1 here and back for wave 2 and up for wave 3, then back for wave 4 and then up for wave 5. That's one of the questions that that we need answering. But this could certainly be a top into play here, or we can have the 4th wave come in and then move up through there. It just depends on how you count this through here. I've counted this as 1 here in terms of up for 1, back for 2 here, and then up for 3 here, then the A, the B, the C, and then up for the 5th here. So, but this little structure here is certainly going to correct, because when we look at this here, we can see that we've got it's not that clear, but we've got a 5-wave structure in terms of 5 waves going up, and we've got up for 1 here. So you'd have to pull that apart to see that, but that's up for 1 and back for 2. Then you've got the 3rd wave that goes all the way through to here, then the 4th wave to here, and then the 5th wave up to here. And the 5th wave is quite clear in terms of 1, 2, 3, A, B, C for 4, because wave 2 was simple, and then up for the 5th here. And because the extension's in the 3rd wave, then wave 5 here will be the same as wave 1 here. And because wave 2 is simple, wave 4 will be complex. That's the alternating thing that we see in the markets and in nature. And we forget sometimes, but us humans are nature too. And yeah, so look, so we can expect, because we've got 5 waves here, we can expect this to come back. I just don't know if that's the top in, or we've got this as the 4th wave there. And yeah, so And that's the same with all the markets. Actually, that's the tricky little bit. So the support and the resistance of certain closest largest numbers are going to be very important. But what makes me think that we've got a possible top in is the currency markets, and we'll get to that in a moment. And the bonds, treasuries, bonds, currencies, they're suggesting that a top is in place, and we'll be heading down from here, and we'll be looking at that in a moment. The gold market, we're considering a top being in place like here as such, but not quite sort of convinced of that just yet. Now, this will be the line in the sand here. This is a bit messy to work out, and I just haven't had the time to do it. But that group 1 there, the subgroup 1, so we've got 1800 here, the 10, the 20, and the 30. So if support is found on that 30 there, that market means that it's got to push up through there. The breakout is important, but the retest is more important. It comes back, and if it finds support on that 30, then expect further upside from there, okay? But as it stands at the moment, while it's under there, consider it weak, and you wouldn't go long there. In fact, you wouldn't be holding positions there. If you were holding positions there and it broke through the 20, then you want to get out at that stage through here, and you want to be using that as a trigger to short at that stage as well. But be aware that you'll get a bounce off the 18 and the 10, so it's going to be a bouncy ride all the way through here. But what you want at the end of the day is you want that 1800 there to be locked in as resistance. And as soon as you get the failed retest from there, then you'd short from there. So the failed retest would look like market come down through here, so it would come down through here and then go back up and retest it. In this case, it's retested it here, come back somewhat and then pushed up. So it didn't really take out that low there. So that's what you'd be looking for. Comes down, retests, fails, takes low out, short. Now, that's what will occur here if that's going to be the case. Now, you can get in early. You could sell right on the nose here, but you just need to know what you're doing a little bit in these cases. But keeping it simple to start with, and as your skill set grows, and you simply because of experience, and you pay for your experience in terms of losses, then you get a better grip on it. So. Now, the oil here, I've just got this on the daily price here. So this is a daily chart for the oil. And as you know, we've been looking for the same as the indices in terms of market coming down, getting the A, the B, and the C coming back up through here. And we're looking for it to fail at this point here. Now, we've been following this wave count. We know that this is going to follow stock. That's how simple it is. But it's still good to see that it does work with the numbers and the price. So that 90 there has got a technical situation here because of that last low there. So you can see it in the bars there. They're closing off their highs. So they are sort of suffering a little bit there from the pressure. So you could also use the daily robo here as well, because you can see that once this market runs, the robo method works quite well. So we could say that a breaking of one of these next lows here would be a bit of a trigger. So it could be that one. It could be if this one stays above there. But yeah, anyway, you got the picture. So if it breaks down through here, then you can look at shorting OSH, which should have been shorted on the retest of the medium level 650, but it might be some space there left. Woodside hasn't pushed up at all really in the whole rally, so that could be a good short. Yeah. So the copper market here we've been using as the wave count, so to speak, with the indices, and because it's been the easiest to follow in terms of the A, the B, and the C wave coming up through here. Our focus is on this structure here, starting from here, coming up from there. So I'll just bring that into play here. So this is all fine here. We've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and in brackets, say, and then we'll be looking for the wave 3 up in brackets, which is this one in here. So that's now the bracket here, and that would be the 5 there as well in terms of that coming into play there. That means that wave 4 would be there. So we'd have that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming in through there. And yeah, so that's the top of the third wave there. So we've got up for wave 1 because we've got 5 waves in there, which is fine. We've got the A, the B, and the C wave here for wave 2. Then we've got wave 3 here, which is the 1, the 2. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5 to there. 4, 3, 4, 5 to there for that one. That's right. And then we've got up here. So now I'm kind of looking for this to be a wave 4 here and then a wave 5 up to there and then fail from that point. That means that indices would be the same as well. So there's probably another bounce in the indices, but I'm just not sure, and it's a bit annoying, but that's the way it goes because if this is the top of the third here, we've got this A, B, and C here for the wave 4. But if this wave 4 here, I know this is a bit complicated, but I do need to explain it for the people that use Elliott. If this wave 4 is here and this is some sort of triangle pattern here, then this wave 5 here can be into here, and this wave 3 into here, and this wave 4 into here, and the other wave 5 that we're looking at coming up would be the top in this place here. That's the and that's workable like that too, because because the extension's in wave 3, this wave 1 here is really quite short, you know, in terms of everything else, and that's what we're actually looking at as a part of that structure. So that means that this one here would be the same in terms of length and time and so forth. So that's very fitting from there. So this could certainly be a top in here. This is what I don't sort of know, and it's quite normal for this to come back to the fourth wave of 1 lesser degree down to this point here. So what we could do is we could say that, well, if the 410 becomes the resistance, so we have 5 waves down, this would be like the third wave in the middle here, that third wave there. So we've basically got down for 1, back for 2. Then we've got the third wave down to here, which would be the 1, 2, the third down to here, then the fourth and the fifth coming down into here. So we'd get a bounce off here. So we'd have 5 waves coming down here, 3 waves back up, and 5 coming down here. But if it locks under that after that, then we know that then we've got a top into place there. So we just got to bring all the markets together at this stage. So splitting hairs, and it's nice to have it right, but I just got to point out what options we have and where we can go wrong. Where it does get sort of exciting, I think, in terms of a top being in play is from the currency market and also from the treasuries as well. But from the currency market here, we're looking at this is the US dollar here, and I'm just counting this a slightly different way now. Not that it sort of matters. What matters here is that being above the 74 here, this 30-minute chart, being above the 74 here starts to put pressure on stock. So while this is moving up, the stock will be moving down, and also traders will also start to see this, and they will swap their gold for dollars. So this is why gold will be weak at this point. But while this is pushing up through here, we're going to see the euro push down, and we'll see the stocks push down. So we are seeing sort of reoccurring patterns coming through here. We can expect those to continue. As a market moves up in price in terms of ratio, then the trends, and the corrections are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why we'll be looking at the wave count. But like this little correction here is just a smaller version of this one here. This trend here is a smaller version of this one, and this one here is a bigger one. So we can expect this sort of correction here to come into play more so at the 75 level up there. We would expect this to well, to continue to push up to the 80 up there. And we've already talked about the euro as well on the downside. And yesterday we were talking, just using the robo method here. This is a daily chart here. The dotted line here is the weekly low. So that's triggered the weekly low, and we've got three daily robo things in here, but I'm keeping the stop above the 144 there, and I certainly understand that we can lose that money in that there. This could come down and come back up through all of that. I totally understand that. I do expect a retest somewhere along the line. We need to sort of look at this structure coming down here to sort of define that. But hopefully that we can get some positions in here based off the daily robo and then the weekly. And if we are correct, then we will be taking these positions and turning them into the monthly and the quarterly robo as we go down, because we are looking for this low here to be taken out here. So this is pretty exciting stuff, I reckon. And we're right at the right point for it here. So you need to sort of give a bit of thought to this. Whatever money that goes in there in this initial stages here, you know, we've got some winning positions in here already. Now, sure, they could turn back into losses and so forth, but this initial risk here, I'm sort of planning it just to, that's money to lose. That's like the initial risk. I don't want to take profit on it. I want to leave it there, and I want certain retests to come in, and then I want to be adding on those retests. So it's not going to be, it's not easy to emotionally and financially, it's not easy to build into the beginnings of a long-term trade, because when you're building into the beginning of a structure, it can be quite daunting. And what I mean by that is that, let's say that we're sort of heading down, we've got this structure here like this. All the initial structures in this structure there tend to pull back. So like wave one down, wave two comes back like, you know, 60 odd percent, you know, the 61.8%. So you've got to sort of get in at the beginning of the situation, and then not get in here and allow for this to happen, and then go and add here again, you know. So even this small first wave here down for one and back for two, that's going to pull back, you know, the 50-60%, and then it's in there as well. So that's going to be the same sort of pattern in there as well. So you've got all these really high retracement levels in the beginning of the structure. It's only when you get past all of that into the third wave that it really extends out, and the fourth wave only pulls back up 40 odd percent. So you can handle that kind of heat there as well, and then get the rest of that there. So it is the beginning of the structure that's the most difficult to play there to get out through there. Also, just while we're on this chart, this is CBA here. So we're seeing just for our local market here, you can see that we've got this market open high and close lower. Normal Thursday sort of pattern, but you can see that it did it on higher volume there, so the sellers are definitely in there. And I can see that these sellers here have already sort of moved out of the market here as well, where we don't see that in BHP. So if we have a look at BHP, we can see that there's some big fish still swimming in that pond there. What I mean by that is that we've got these people that have come in here, then we've got these people and this volume here coming in here as well. So they haven't actually gotten out. I haven't seen them sort of get out through here. So when you sort of look back as an example through here, you can see that just bear with me here. I've got to find it. It's just interesting to watch the people come and go within all of this. Okay, so you got this sort of big volume bar down here and this one here. So this is obviously buying coming in over here. So they've seen this move up through here, but they've also watched it come back down as well. So it's got the same amount of volume here as it's got here, a tad more. So this would be them moving out of that position there, so that you know that they're gone from that point. The demand has been taken out. So that's kind of what we'd be looking for in this scenario with this over here. We know that this is the medium level here, 40, so we know that that's going to be hit there anyway. But it's probably a good chance today to also sell here as well, but you just have to keep the stop a little bit higher. Okay, getting back on a little bit, in terms of the euro here, we're just, I'm just looking at it like this really. So we're looking for, I've put this as wave one here. So there's a couple of things here. This whole structure down through here is kind of confirming that there's a top in place in terms of the indices, so that's good. But in terms of actual currency, this move down here, we don't know if this is just an A wave or larger wave one. I'm playing it out as a large wave one, and we just need to allow it to play out. But that's why we needed to make a move to be essentially short under the 144 here. If not sort of earlier, as we mentioned, when this structure came down through here and over here. But I'm just counting it in terms of down for one here of this degree, then wave A, B, and C for wave two there. So we're in a big third wave coming down. In this big third wave coming down, I've labeled it in brackets 1, brackets 2. So we're in bracket 3 coming down. So in bracket 3 coming down, we're down for 1, back for 2, down for 3 here, back for 4, and be going down for 5 there. Now, when we get this fifth wave down through here, that will give us wave 3 of brackets. Yeah, then we'll be looking at wave 4 of brackets, and then down, well, haven't got it there, down for wave 5 of brackets. So that's what we're looking at. So still a fair bit to go down. And sure, short-term trading to the downside is fine, but that robo method for the daily and the weekly, you're going to have to don't go chucking positions in here for that long haul at that stage here, because the market will come back and retest this trend and put you in a loss position. If you've been shorting from here on up, then you can handle whatever comes from that point there, because we want to see this move down, then come back up and retest this trend somewhere, and you'll be holding these situations here, these positions here. So the Australian dollar, here we've been looking for the top of the rally for this market, and it may not be sort of complete yet, but from this last structure down from here, counting 5 waves up would be from this point here up for 1 to here, or even 1 to there or to there. It doesn't really matter, but up for 1 and back for 2 to here. And then we'll be looking for the third wave up, which is 1, 2, and then the third wave is 1, 2, 3, 3 to here or to here, 4, and so that's 1, 2, 3 to here with 5 waves in here of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the fourth wave and then the fifth wave to make the third wave. So that's the big long third wave structure in there. And the fourth wave, I think it's here in terms of an A and a B wave and a C wave down to this point here. I think that's the case, but it could be to here. But if it is to here, then what we'll be looking at here is we'll be looking up for wave 1 to here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. This would be the third wave in here. This would be the fourth wave, and then we'll see a fifth wave here to 107.72, and then we'll see it roll over from that point. I could be wrong. If this wave 4 here is actually tucked into here, and this is all part of a corrective pattern in here, then that would be the top there. So, but in the bigger picture, if the 107 became the resistance through here, then these subgroup 2 here would be the trigger for a larger picture to the downside. So it just depends on the degree of structure that you want to trade. And with trading, you always choose your time frame first, and then set your rules up around that, and then your financial plan to fit into that as well. So you need to choose the time frame first. And stay within that framework there. It just makes life a bit more easy. Of course, you can have wheels within wheels going on. That's not a problem. You just need to be organized and inaccurate in what you do. Okay, so this is the 4-minute chart with the structure to the upside, and let's have a look here. So we've got up for 1 here, the A, the B, and the C here for wave 2, the wave 3 here. This is all of wave 4 here, and then the wave 5 up through here. So that can be the top there, and this will be down for 1, back for 2, and down for 3. But I just want to also leave this as a wave 4 here as well, in terms of an A and a B and a C here. And if that is an A, B, and C, then the market will move up from that 1072 area there. And in this being the A wave, the B wave in 3 waves, yeah, and then the C wave is always in 5 waves. So we would see down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, back for 4, and down for 5. So if it's going to push up, it will push up from this 72 number here, and you'd be looking for support back on 1073 here. But if this is going to move up to the 10,772 here, then you want to be looking at 5 waves moving up through there. So as you get the 5 waves into play, then you want to be exiting from there. If it doesn't fail at the 72, then the 80 is the go there if it's going to get some sort of extension in it. But while the S&P 500 is moving down, then this is going to put pressure on this as well, and also the copper market as well that we explained before as well. So copper and the S&P 500 will be dictating what happens through here. But don't short this unless you've got this as resistance here. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So just sort of recapping the local market here is that while the 4,300 on the cash today will open lower, so the ASX 200 will be working under the 4.3 level here, so that creates the bias for weakness. So any longs that we have in, we need to have really tight stops on those, even sort of exiting them sort of on open. But it's not good to hit the panic button either. It's best to put the stop in the right place and allow it to play out. And we'll be looking for short positions as well, in considering that there's a reasonable chance that there is a top in play in most of the markets, but we just don't have confirmation in terms of the internal wave structure, in terms of the US markets or our local market here. But the currencies are suggesting that that there is a top in place. Alrighty, well, good morning and good luck, and have a good weekend. Cheers.